Thank you for tuning in to The Real Tea with T3. We are very excited about this episode that we're going to be bringing to you today. It's all about community and the people that serve us. And we are very excited to serve them and give them a space today. So my name is Tisha Harris with Texas Trio Team.
I'm Deanna Kennesaw with the Texas Trio Team. Happy to be.
And then our special guest, who are you and what keeps you busy?
Hi, ma'am. I'm Sergeant Jimmy Ha with the Brenham Police Department, one of the new K9 handlers here.
And so we have had the privilege of talking to you, diving into your K9. And so kind of walk us through the journey of how that happened, how you got your new partner, and where you are today.
Yes, ma'am. I came back in 2020, law enforcement for coming up to 9 years now. I promoted, I think in 2023, I want to say 2022, 2023, supervising and for a couple of years now, and getting a K9 is two different things. But we had a program, I want to say, at 2020, right when I came back, the program got dissolved. And then with, being proactive, whenever we had the staffing levels for it, we had to call out, adjacent counties was the nearest K9 that we had, if somebody denied consent or didn't want us to search a vehicle, and we had a reasonable suspicion to detain them, to hold them for a dog, then the nearest K9 was about 45 minutes away, which is Waller County. Yeah, Waller County was the nearest one that we usually would call. So I brought up all the stats. I did a proposal through the police department, proposed it to administration, and I know that we had to get staffing levels up first to par. I mean, that's almost every department, until you can specialize and get a different division, stuff like that. But I kind of said that, hey, I'm on patrol. I can still utilize the dog and get the dog working with being on patrol. And, a lot of moving parts, just it happened with the department, and I kind of it finally fell on my lap, which is great. And all of it's based off donations.
Right. Absolutely. And so, I mean, I was telling you, we went to Dallas, and we were fortunate enough that there was a lot of law enforcement in our hotel, not because we were there, but we ended up just asking, what are you doing here? And they were like, we're at a K9 conference. So there is obviously so much training and evolution to working with a K9. So can you kind of walk us through what that looks like?
Right. So I'm just scratching the surface on this. I mean, it's just, I went to training in Liberty Hill. Pace Setters is where the facility I went to. It was only a month class. The K9's name is Maki. She is dual purpose. Dual purpose means she does apprehension, tracking, and narcotics. And like I said, I went to my training. I'm just learning just the basics. She was kind of trained already with imprinting on odor and half tracking and half bite and stuff like that. And I was pretty much learning how to work the dog, I guess, in a sense. But you guys know, if you have pets, you still need to bond with the dog. You take a dog to a whole new environment. It's just a whole different type of, hey, what is this? Am I comfortable with this? Am I going to work, or am I going to shut down? So this is just brand new. She's only been with me for 2 weeks. Seems like it's been longer. Yeah. So she was up at the facility. I stayed at the facility up there, and every day we would train, and we put her back in the kennel. So she wasn't in an actual room with me. She had to go back to the kennel once we finished training with her. So I came back, like I said, once we finished the training, she's in the backyard in a kennel too, kind of saying that is how it was set up at the facility. And I'll go out here for about once an hour or two, just, let her out, play with her, train, I guess you can say, do basic obedience with her. But she is at the house with me. She stays at the house with me and everything like that.
So do you struggle? I know this is a new venture for you,
right.
But do you struggle with wanting it to be like your pet and your dog and that kind of love relationship versus this is my partner and then this is business?
Yeah, it just depends. I think the longer I do it, I think I'm just going to build into that. But I know there's a fine line. I always tell, I got the opportunity to work with my best friends at the Brenham Police Department. So I tell them, hey, friendship and supervising is two different things, right? You have to separate it. If you don't separate it, it's going to cause problems. So kind of in a sense, I have a mindset where, hey, if she's a working dog, she's going to be a working dog. I'm going to give her loving like she needs to, right? But I can't treat her like a house pet, because once you do that, it might jeopardize the dog. The dog doesn't want to work, So
That
So
would be hard.
yeah. So can you have like additional house pets if you wanted to? Like,
Yeah, I still have 2 dogs at the house. So she's in the kennel. I let the dogs out. They come and they just explore, sniff each other, and then they just kind of leave each other alone. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like that'd be really
well,
hard.
the best thing is, I mean, how to correct a dog will correct itself, right? So
hmm
I mean, my 2 house dogs are older dogs. They're like 9 or 10, so they mind their business for the most part.
Maki's lucky he gets to go to work with you.
Yeah, she's like, "Whoa, what is this? I never seen a dog like this." 'Cause I have like a little Chihuahua, and then first time she seen it, she went nuts because all she sees is big dogs right in the kennel.
Right.
She saw this little Chihuahua. It's like, "What is that? Like, that's not a chew toy, is it?" But
And how old is Maki?
on paper, she's 18 months. I want to say she looks a little bit older than that. I'm not sure though. I can't.
Her picture, she looks like a wise.
Yeah, because I think she had a litter of puppies before too. Even just being, I don't know if we're overseas. Like what we're talking about. She's from Poland, so I don't know how. She's really chill, I guess. From the previous K9s, I've seen K9 videos before. Like she's like calm and just chill compared to like the high drive, crazy nuts dog that goes crazy all the time. So it's a good partner for me. Good first dog for sure.
So since you've implemented this, like what have you noticed as a positive impact for the community, like bringing her on as your partner?
Well, the biggest thing is everybody loves dogs, right? That's already a huge plus.
If you don't, then you need to be served.
Right.
So the service dogs, when we see them out, they wear the vests and stuff. So
Right.
when you see a canine dog, is it the same way that you treat a service dog? Like, am I allowed to pet? Am I allowed to touch? Or how does that work?
Great question. I mean, we get this a lot, and I wish I can tell the public more about this. And I don't know if I can say this, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. It's just like, it's a working dog, right?
Right.
I mean, you want it to be nice enough to where it can be around like partners and stuff like that. They can't really tell the difference unless I command them to, or when you train them enough to, hey, this is the bad guy, this is the good guy, kind of in a sense. But they're, like I said, they're working dogs. You want to come up and pet, because say that she is good with people, the public and stuff like that. It just takes one bad bite to end the program, right? A little kid comes up, does something that she's not familiar with, or she's seen during training that, hey, this is somebody's about to attack me or something like that. And she bites the kid or a civilian, something like that.
It's over.
And I gotta take her for that, even though it's not her fault. She's just
doing her
instinctive. Yeah.
Right.
Just a dog being a
she's trying to
dog,
do.
right? A dog being a dog. So I would say don't pet it unless I say, hey, you're okay to pet it. And
are there commands that you give her to let her know that it's okay?
in check. So
Okay.
we're still working on, like you said, she doesn't know how to like relax yet.
I'm gonna start doing that to my husband.
Right.
In check.
Check. The commands are ancient. So
Do that with my
she doesn't know how to relax fully yet. So it's one of those
She's
things.
like always on.
Yeah. So
She's on all the time whenever she's
Right.
with you. And
Yes,
so that's really got to cause a ton of anxiety for, just like it would a human being, to be constantly on the go. So what are the like exercises that like she can work through to avoid like PTSD?
That's a good question. I mean, a dog's a dog. I think I'm working on. I think once we get the bond down, she understands that, hey, at the house, this is your safe place. And then when we go to inside the office, this is your safe place as well. And then when we get into the car and the lights turn,
That's when the work begins.
Work begins. Probably most likely in the car. So I think it just takes time. A lot of it. You want it to rush, right? Because you want, hey, let's get this going and stuff like that. But it takes time. And like I said, the previous guys that had the dog, it took them probably about 6 months to acclimate to, hey, this is working mode. This is no, so.
So you said that she is trained in narcotics. So what narcotics is kind of prevalent in our community today that she had to be trained on, or that you felt like she was imperative for our community?
I mean, marijuana. Everybody knows marijuana is the biggest thing. So I mean, everybody has an opinion on that. Well, whether your opinion is not, it's still legal in the state of Texas. Which people don't like that. It is what it is. You got a job to do, right? So just do the job, follow the law with that.
That's a pretty pungent smell, though. Like, so you probably don't need a narcotic dog.
Right. So I mean, that's always prevalent. That's the biggest. Everybody has marijuana nowadays, right? It's the ones that's hard that you can't smell, right? Cocaine, meth, heroin, MDMA, which is what's the slang term for it? Ecstasy. That's the slang term for it, MDMA. So
So is this like prevalent, like that you're dealing with on a frequent basis of finding these things?
like prior to when I was working, as far as before becoming a supervisor and everything like that, I would find, I mean, almost MDMA would be the biggest thing. Meth is a huge thing too. Meth is
Really?
you can't smell it. So I mean, I work 290 all the time. You know, we're the biggest
Mhm.
at the highway. That's my bread and butter. As far as local stuff, we have a specialized unit that works that stuff. And then since I have the K9 now, if they need me to come out, then I'll be probably attached to them as well.
So you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, that a lot of what you're dealing with the drugs are people that are passing through,
Yeah,
traveling.
me personally, as my department, you
That's
know,
what you're
that's what I do with. That's because
Okay.
I like to work.
It makes more sense,
That's my
right.
favorite thing to do.
Mhm.
And highway, you get people from any
Any,
huge
yeah.
city, Houston, Austin, Dallas, like all the big cities. You know,
Right.
I mean,
Mhm.
they come through here. They think it's a little small town, like nobody's working it, and it's. I mean, think about it. Nobody does work it as much, right?
Right.
So it's the perfect time to work it. So that's why I work the highways.
So as far as like trafficking, like or like smuggling drugs, like on the streets, like that, is that doesn't seem like that's prevalent here, but I could understand how it would be on the freeways
It,
and kind of like that kind of.
it's just enough. Like I said, you have to have a specialized unit to work that, you know, because anybody sees a cop car, then legal, right? You know, and sometimes it's in plain sight, something we just don't pay attention to, you know, like gas stations.
Y'all know what to look for.
Oh,
We might
yes,
not
man.
see it,
If you have time, you know, yeah, you know, you train yourself, you know, like you all's job, you all specialize in something. Same as us. There's so many different things within our job that we have to get good at, you know, and not everybody's good at what I want to do. You know, like not everybody wants the K9. No, not everybody wants to get, you know, dope and money and guns and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Everybody wants to, you know, the biggest thing is I mean, we all know there's family violence, right? Some people like investigating those kind of cases or like the high crimes, like
Murder
yeah,
investigations.
stuff like that. I mean, we have everybody's made for something, right? So that's what people over there specialize in. I like doing, like I said, that's why I have a K9.
Is that something you've always wanted to do? Like even as a kid and like teenager and
I
stuff?
was going to be a cop first.
You have?
Yes, ma'am. So, like I said, I was telling her prior to one of my best friends. He's a constable now at the precinct 1, Darius Smith, Constable Smith. We talked about getting into law enforcement together, and he got into it before me. Once I finished school, once I finished college, I got out, and I was like, "Hey, I guess I do want to be a cop." And so he kind of got me into where he was at the sheriff's office. That's where we started off, and then we kind of just went our own different ways. But we still work pretty much hand in hand because he's still here in Washington.
Yeah,
County,
he is.
So
Yeah, he does a lot with Brenham Next.
correct.
That's how I know that name.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, and so kind of tell me, like, as a child and a teenager wanting to do it, was it like a strong sense of like justice, or was it like fighting the bad guys, or like what was it?
I've always said this. I mean, I always like helping people, putting people before me. That's just my personality from growing up, all the way from childhood to growing up. And then I was trying to figure out, you know, I went to Blinn for 2 years trying to figure out, hey, what I want to be, what I want to do for my career. You know, I just took the basic, you know, classes to get my associates. And then I got into CSI. I was watching CSI a lot. I was like, let me see, let me try to do the forensic side. And then I figured out
When you
like,
realized it wasn't 24 hours.
and I was like, biology and chemistry. And I was like, man, this is kind of hard. I don't want to do this now. So I was like, yeah, let's put this to the side. And I was like, hey, being a cop sounds pretty cool. And you know, he was doing a lot of community work. So like Citizens on Patrol, and he went to Bryan, did that over there too. And he kind of got me into it. And we're like, all right, this is what I decided. Let's do this, you know. And my dad was part military, so it kind of he didn't want me to go to military, but it kind of fell in line with, hey, this is kind of closest to military.
Yep.
So what are your like goals for Maki? Like what do you like? What is your hopes for the community for her to bring working with you, and you know, just as a benefit that maybe Brenham lost for a little bit, but you're hoping to bring the spirit back?
Right. So she can definitely assist in call outs. You know, now we don't have to wait 35 minutes now for a dog. You know, if somebody runs from us, I live in the city, so I'm the closest one. They can call me out, and I can hopefully catch somebody that just cause a high crime, like a high priority crime, a high risk crime, like somebody running away, somebody like the murder, stuff like that. You know, I'm the nearest one. You know, you can call me out. I can come out to help. I can assist any other agencies, county, DPS, even Blend. You know, um, it's just the response time is quicker, and then people once they hear that you have a dog, they probably won't run either. Right? A lot of people run because they know that we don't have a dog, right? And then detecting human smuggling, human trafficking, narcotics, and all that stuff like that. She's useful in that aspect too. And then also in the public, we got into public. She's good. I'm gonna train it up, and hopefully I can train it up to be, good with the public, and people can come pet her.
Yeah.
Once I muzzle her, and then you can pet her after that because now I don't have to worry about the risk of her biting anybody and stuff like that. So it's just a huge asset to the department. Just not just us, our department, it's just the community itself, keep the community more safe, and then just all the other departments that can utilize and
the smaller towns around.
100%, absolutely. So it's just a plus. There's no cons to having a dog besides just more work for me. Pretty much, that's the only con.
But I think it's beautiful, like how, just like if you, like your best friend that's in the industry, like you guys have that kind of bond, just like military, like your brothers and sisters, like that, like, and then you can like have a canine that's doing the exact same thing, like that you have each other's backs, but it's just like a friendship. It's going to take some time.
100%. It's just like my wife says, hey, I don't have to, being a spouse of an officer is already a huge, it's like a huge applause already, So now she doesn't have to. That's one less thing for her to worry about. It's just that dog's gonna have my back. I can't report. She's gonna be there for me just in case something happens. Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a little bit of relief, but not the full. Just because being an officer is a whole different thing. But that helps out too.
Do you hope to expand her training like for additional things, or is it kind of once she has a specialty or specialties that's pretty much it?
Right. It's just those three things: will be apprehension, tracking, and narcotics. Because you have to imprint it, and you have to think about, if you go to court on a lot of things, if they are specialized in, say, narcotics and firearms, those two don't mesh, right? Because everybody carries a gun nowadays, right? So, real world scenario, right? I'm doing a traffic stop, and I think something's up with this vehicle, and she does a sniff, and then we search the vehicle, we find nothing but a firearm. Well, it's not legal to carry a firearm. So now you could look at the stipulations and go to court, then a legal search. So you have to think about all that stuff. So if they specialize in one thing, that's what you want them to specialize.
Yeah, got it. That makes sense.
Yes,
just like any other trade, I mean, and always, like you said, like when people are probably running, like that's an amazing thing to do. But like, even if you didn't do anything, like I know, like when we go through TSA at the airports, like
it's nerve-wracking.
It's like, I don't have drugs, but I'm so scared I'm going to go to jail.
No, right? Like, hey, why is the dog
going to smell on me?
I don't have anything here. Why is this dog doing this? Yeah, absolutely. It's just a deterrence at the end of the day, a deterrent, a huge deterrence. Officer presence is number one, is the first level of use of force. Somebody that looks, clean cut and right, they're probably going to comply most of the time, 90% of the time. So having a dog with that too, they're probably going to comply. Yeah, right. So that's another huge plus for having a canine.
So is there ever any like, maybe she gives you a signal, not her, let's just talk about canines just overall. Like, can they ever give you a signal like that something's like off, and then maybe it was just a similar scent of something else?
Could be. I mean, I haven't worked with her long enough to know. I'm sure dogs' instinct are probably better than ours.
Yeah.
So I'm sure once I learn her, like I said, it takes time, 6 months, probably a year. I could probably catch on like, hey, this is something I need to pay attention to, what she likes, what she sees and stuff like that.
So like in your studies, like in the, like whenever you were doing the reports and stuff, like for like the court of law, like you were arrest somebody, they end up having to go to court. Like, and if you have a canine unit or a canine that has like, identified something, is that kind of a positive that maybe,
right?
Does it help?
Yeah. Does it help the case?
Yeah. I mean, it's so let me take a step back. So like prior to even having a canine, right? If you can't find narcotics yourself, the canine is not going to help. And so you have to be good at getting the narcotics itself first, and then the dog is just a tool, extra tool. So if you are doing your job correctly, get into cars on traffic stops and stuff like that, then you already know how to talk or interview and talk to somebody already, and the dog's just an extra tool. Now, if you train your dog to be good enough on the odor of where it can pinpoint where the odor or the narcotics are at. And so, yeah, it definitely helps. But if you don't know what you're doing in the first place, then the dog's the one as good as his trainer.
Mm.
So it's a hand in hand. It's a I guess it goes hand in hand in a sense. But if you don't know what you're doing and you're not, then there's no purpose on having the canine. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I mean, like on YouTube, like you see like videos of like, you know, maybe there was a traffic stop and then the canine gets involved and then all of a sudden like it's hidden somewhere in the vehicle, like that just isn't readily seen, but like they're given the cue over and over, like there's something there. So do you have to like call him back up at that point, or is that something that like you guys can handle right then and there?
yeah, I mean, policy. You have to go by policy procedure too, right?
Got it.
When you search cars, you always want two people just in case, because you
Okay.
just don't know. You don't ever know nowadays, especially nowadays. But even back then, I'm sure it's the same way. But the dog's there, but you also have to control the dog, and the dog can't watch the suspect like like your partner can, and can put them in handcuffs and do whatever you need to do. So it's good. It's good to have them there as a deterrence, but you still need extra.
Do you keep her like next to you, like whenever you're like interviewing, or do you like if she identifies something, like then you have to put her away, like just for safety
No,
measures?
she's in the back the whole time. If I get her out, then and do it's called a free air sniff of the vehicle. If we go breach of suspicion, and then we do the free air sniff, she alerts to the odor narcotics, praise her, put it back in the car, and then we'll talk to the guy. Hey, this is what my dog alerted to. This, and that, and then we'll search the car. And if she finds something in there, then we got to do what we have to do.
Right.
So she goes back. She's in the back of the car majority of the time.
That's good. So we were talking like, you're from the area and things progress over time. But just for the community overall, like what would you say would be like the top changes that you've seen just in the recent years that the general public may need to know about or, should be aware about like, you know, criminal or not criminals, but like crimes that are happening that may not be on the surface level?
Generally, the crimes are it's the same. You have trends, right? Sometimes trends happen. But we need to crack down on this. But like burglaries, people stealing from cars, everything's pretty much the same. It's just higher now, just because we have more population, right? We're growing more. Brenham is becoming bigger. So more and so, it's the same when it comes to crime rates with everything like that. And maybe a specific month we have a higher crime on assaults or something like that. It just depends monthly, or that's how we do the monthly stats. Biggest thing is don't believe social media. Don't believe everything on social media. Let me say, let me correct that, because all these videos that people watch, they think they're high. They think they're attorneys, number one, and if we're on the side of the road, we're not there to argue, and case law triumphs everything. So if I tell you got the car, there's a case law for that. Officer safety. You will have to get out of the car if I have all the cause to stop you in the first place. The fail identify is the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing that we're the older generation of cops gets in trouble for, because hey, if I come up to you, hey, you need to produce your ID. No, you don't. If we have reason suspicion that you committed a crime, yeah, we will have to ID then.
Really?
So it's reason suspicion.
Debunk all the rumors while you're here.
Right. So fail identify has been a huge thing, and just I guess in Texas, I don't know how states are, but fail identify is the terms on the statute is they have to be arrested on the terms of fail to identify. So if you committed a crime, right, and you're arrested, I tell you have to produce your ID. If you don't produce your ID, then you get charged with fail to identify. Now, if you're doing, say that I get called, you're at the park, or say let's not say the park because the park has a curfew. You're just in the middle of the road at night, 1 o'clock in the morning. You're not doing anything. You're just looking shady, suspicious, whatever. I come up to you, talk to you. Hey, what are you doing? And I ask for your ID. You don't have to provide it. Now don't get me wrong. We're cops, right? We're nosy. We're here to make sure a crime didn't occur. So we're going to ask questions. And people are like, well, why are you messing with me? Well, think about this. If you're near a house and the house just got burglarized, right? And the suspect's walking down, and I go up there, I ask him, hey, what are you doing? And the guy doesn't want to talk to me, and I'm not digging into the investigation. Well, your house just got burglarized. Now, wouldn't you be mad if I didn't do my job?
Right.
That's why I say, hey, at the end of the day, I'm doing my job. It's nothing personal. I'm here to make sure that no crime occurred, right? And going about my business. So for fail to identify, you have to be technically arrested by what the statute says, arrested to be charged with failure to identify. Now, you can be detained if you're reasonable suspicion that you have committed a crime, but if there's no crime at all, then you can go about your business, and do what you need to do. So that's pretty much in basic terms of failure to identify. And that's where a lot of cops that's where you see a lot on the social media where a lot of cops get in trouble for it just because they don't understand the statute for it and stuff like that. And ego plays a big thing too, right? So just be cool, nonchalant, like how we're talking.
So since you're working for like the city of Brenham and like, are you going off like city, county ordinances or state regulations? Tell me about that.
We have city ordinances that we can use, that we can enforce too. But we still have to abide by our policy and procedures with the department too, as well. So like, a big thing here is, it goes mainly to the college students here. The parks close at 11 p.m. and then open again until 5 a.m. So if you get caught at the park at the hours, then yeah, you have to identify yourself because it's a city ordinance. And then some people try to fight, well, it's not state law, statute, whatever. Well, it's a city ordinance. So I mean, if you really want to fight the city on trying to justify this law and stuff like that, and most of the time you just talk to them, hey, just leave. It's past 11. It's not a big deal. Not unless you're doing something illegal.
Right.
But a lot of bigger cities, they don't have a curfew at parks. So it's,
So the kids that are coming from another area, they don't know any different. And yeah.
I mean, there's signs posted.
What are you doing at the park at midnight? Like for real.
What does mama say? No good things.
Signs posted, but you don't really pay attention. So I cut them a break. And like I said, I don't speak for myself.
Sure.
Not every cop's the same.
Right.
Everybody does his job differently. So, but they pretty much by law, we operate all the same.
So let's just like, what would be your tip of advice for like general public, like when you're dealing with law enforcement, or at least with like someone like you, like, because I'm sure it's really difficult on the psychology level is like one hand, like you got to be rugged and tough and all that stuff. But then you're dealing with somebody that isn't used to that.
Me personally, if you treat me with respect, I do the same. I don't care what level of form we come from, high end, low end, it doesn't matter. If you treat me with respect, I would do the same. Now, if you come to me a different way, then I'm gonna give you the same energy, but worse, because I haven't done anything to make you mad. You called me to try to help you, but now you give me attitude because it didn't go your way. Well, I always say that, cops, we deal with everything from babysitting to solving, a 10-year problem that you called us on. Now you want us to solve it right here, right now. That's not how it works, so just, if you ever encounter me specifically, just come say hi, just nonchalant, just talk to me like, I'm a regular person, because that's how I'm going to talk to you about a regular person, and kind of just throw the macho demeanor. Hey, I'm the law. You will do as I say. I definitely don't work that way or approach that way because it doesn't help whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'm not better than you. I'm definitely not better than you. I'm just here trying to help you for the most part. So I think for me personally, like I said, just treat me with respect because I do the same to you, So, but like I said, I don't know about anybody else, but that's how I operate.
So what have you learned about yourself since getting in law enforcement that you in a positive way, or maybe something you weren't expecting?
My patience has thinned a lot. Yeah, it's
I just come with age.
That too. That I think it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
I would say, like, not put my feelings in it, but like, if somebody did commit a crime, I'd be like, man, they messed up, this and that. Which part of me still is okay. I understand that, and then the other part of me is like, well, I didn't make the decision. You made the decision, right? I'm your consequence to your decision.
Yep.
So now I kind of think it's just logical instead of being, because if you get emotionally attached to this, which you still need that emotional side of it, right? Because different circumstances, different things. But if you look at it in a logical perspective, the job will be easier, if that makes sense. Like, the CPR calls, right? Those are like the worst calls, especially with infants too, right? So if you're emotionally attached to that, how long do you think you're gonna last in the field doing that? Well, you see what I'm saying?
Speaking on that, with my dad being a police officer when I was little, so with us being a smaller force here, I know he was Houston, and right. So they had therapy that was available to them as well as a family. Is that something that are here in Brenham?
Yes, we provide? They have programs where you can seek out for assistance, and I think
But is it kind of like the military though? Like, and you don't have to say if you don't want to, but like I know a lot of like soldiers, like they view that as a weakness,
no, I mean,
or like,
I think that's a different and generational change as well too. You want to talk about it because we don't.
It's
I mean,
okay to not
nobody.
be okay.
I think that's just like a stigma where they just developed. I mean, we talk about it all the time. I mean, I have people on my ship and he's prior military, prior veterans that has PTSD,
Right.
and he speaks to me. He's one of my best friends. Like, hey, what's going on today? I can tell something's off. What's going on today? Let's talk about it. And we talk about, we're like a big family.
because it's more detrimental if you don't.
Right. Because what's the point of just bundling up for what?
Right.
Because what are you bundling up? You go out on the call and then boom, PTSD happens and you're like, oh, I can, didn't send it, make a bad decision because of that. And you lose your job, lose your life or something like that, which is something crazy, right? So we just talk about it. You gotta, I mean, if you don't talk about it, then it's not going to help the situation. You just want to have somebody to kind of like, it's like therapy in a sense.
And it's an opportunity for growth.
Right.
It's like, because you see it as your perception, but then if you talk to somebody else, your peer, then you're like, oh, I didn't think of it that way,
I mean, I always say, we're here majority of the time with our partners. I mean, that's like our second family compared to our first family, right?
Yeah.
We work with these guys in hand. I'm trusting these guys with my life. Same vice versa with them. Why not build that bond and help each other out and get through whatever life problems you have, because you are a big family at the end of the day, whether you like it or not.
Yeah,
right?
definitely. I love that approach, at least for our community, and others should do the same.
Yeah, that we're all helping each other.
So I'm curious, what is the funniest interaction you've had since being in law enforcement?
I've been hit on it quite a times. I don't think that's the funniest.
It's just the uniform.
It's just, I think,
right?
I think it's just the uniform. Right?
Not like that, but like everybody likes them.
I don't know what it is. Well, I say this is funny, but it might not be funny if people are thinking on the outside looking in. This is when I was at the sheriff's office. I want to say 2018 or 2019. I'm a new cop, brand new, learning stuff. I did a traffic stop. And it was with one of my DPS buddies. He's a trooper. It was late at night. We just did a traffic stop. He stopped the car and then I went to go stop another car. The car I stopped, when I approached the car, this is me brand new, right? Not knowing anything. As soon as I get up to the car, I get a bailout. Like 9 people run out, right? It sounds bad, right? But it's not. Well, it is bad, but then it's not bad at the same time, right? So there's a bailout. Everybody runs. I'm like confused. Like you see me on I'm like, what's going on? Like I'm just trying to give you a warning for a headlight out. Everybody's bolting out, running everywhere and stuff like that. And long story short, we didn't catch nobody. Well, I caught 2 of them because they were sleeping. So cool. But
so they didn't run.
Well, yeah, but they didn't run. I mean, they didn't get charged anything because they're not the driver of the car. So fast forward after that incident, my buddy, well, my supervisor at that time, we're good friends too. He recorded the incident and he plays that little clown music. He goes, yeah, that's and it's probably they just made fun of me for they still make fun of me right now because rookie mistake. I was young and new. I just didn't know what to do, and that's probably one of the on top of my head. That's probably one of the funniest moments right now with that.
That's awesome.
So it doesn't sound good, but then at the same time, it's like, well, I mean, it is what it is.
And then, I mean, now that you've got a K9, like that's a different world that you've opened up and like, revealing opportunities that, we as humans may not have, or, you would have been able to actually do. So what are you looking forward to like the most with working with her as the years progress? Just
be able to, I guess utilization is the biggest thing. I'm always going to be there for all my partners, even the local to state agencies to even the agencies next to us, other counties like Lee County, whatever agency that needs to be. I mean, I'm there for the call outs if they need, a tracking dog or whatever the case may be. It's just, and I talked to previous K9 officers. They say it's the funnest job in the world. And I agree already. I mean, it's only been a couple of weeks with her, but I love it already.
So she can track too?
Yes.
So if someone's missing or something like that, that's awesome.
So there's kind of stipulations kind of to that, because a lot of times if they're training apprehension, which is the bite, you kind of don't want to track missing people because sometimes it ends up with the bite. Because, where if you're tracking like a higher risk suspect, someone that just took off from law enforcement, if you find a guy, the dog's probably going to most likely.
But but if you put the muzzle on her, then she'd still be able to smell.
But at the same time, that kind of so dogs are instinctive and they learn a lot, right? So if you start doing that, then it kind of defeats the purpose of, hey, I'm tracking to catch an actual live scenario of a suspect that took off. So there's a lot of things. Like I said, it's a lot. Like I'm just scratching the surface with this. I'm just like, man.
So she's better for tracking suspects, not like victims.
I want to do both,
right?
But I still have to train. Like I have a training group I train with, and I mean their opinion matters a lot to me. So because I'm learning stuff, so it just depends. I mean, and I've talked to guys when I was in the training class, because there was a guy. He was from Tennessee, and he's worked K9. He worked 9 different dogs. Military and law enforcement. And he has a different opinion compared to, yeah, you can do that, but then you can't do that at the same time. So I'm just like, there is no right answer when it comes to the canine world. It's just, hey, this works better for them. And then my dog works this way. My dog worked this way. It's all different. It's there's no wrong answer to it, so it just depends, I guess.
And it's just going to be a learning opportunity, learning curve, like for both of you.
Absolutely. So, I mean, it's every day. I mean, we learn every day already. And if I have dogs, just I learn how the dog operates on top of what I'm doing too. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, Brenham didn't have this, like it was taken away, and like you advocated for it because it was obviously important for our community. But I mean, like you guys have a threshold like for like financing, like this being brought to the community. And so you had a goal of $75,000, like to bring her on and to, bring a purpose like to and value for these types of animals in our community. And so tell us like where things are at with that, and like have you reached that goal?
So obviously we reached the goal of purchasing her and then going to that class. That was about 15,000. So obviously we reached that. We have that. And then the vehicle equipment, just the equipment itself, not the vehicle itself, was close to, I want to say, about 8,000. Obviously we reached those 2 goals, which is I have the unit. Well, the unit came from the city because we rotate cars in and out. But we still want to get an actual vehicle for her, for herself, or just in case, or I guess you can say through donations. And if the vehicle can't supply the city can't supply the vehicle, then we have a vehicle for her. So as far as where we're at right now, I think, don't quote me on this. I don't want, because I don't keep track of this.
I guess it would be like, are you close to your goal? You have not met it.
We're about maybe close to halfway, because it's an ongoing thing. We still need, people don't understand this. Like, if something were to happen to her, right? Worst term scenario, and who's going to pay for that?
Yeah, medical and stuff.
Yeah. So that's what donations are for too. All the equipment for her. Still don't have a bulletproof vest for her. I'm looking at grants to get one. I mean, but if I can just buy it too through donations, that would be great. And
y'all, she needs a bulletproof vest. Like, what does that cost?
Of course, I don't know. I have to look it up. I mean, she had to size her up, buy the plates and stuff for her and stuff like that. It's just like she's just an officer.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. She is an officer if you look at it. So I mean, something like that. We're still raising money, donations for that, and dog food and that stuff.
Wow. Like, so what kind of food does she have?
So luckily, Brenham Vet, they are the one that's helping me with just the preventative care, all her treatments, like with the shots and stuff like that. And they give me a bag of dog food each month. So luckily they donated for that. Yeah. So I've been lucky with that.
Is she allowed to have treats?
Yeah, she can have treats.
Any specific kind?
Not yet. She doesn't know. Like, it's weird because I try to present a couple of treats here. She's like, "What is this? I don't know what this is." And she doesn't want to eat it. I'm just like, okay, this is a first for me because they don't. Her being in the kennel, I think, is just she doesn't know what that is. She's like self-discovery, right? She doesn't know, hey, this is good or this is bad. So
you got to figure out her love language.
The treats she's gonna eat. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, like earlier, like if you had to be on a call and you get emotional about it, like, is that really the best field, for you to be like, you're talking about her not having a bulletproof vest. And I'm like, I'm so emotional about it. I wouldn't be good at it. Just there's so many things that are that she's going to need. And so I mean, Brenham has been amazing about stepping up, like,
absolutely,
and very like for local business owners, like when they're struggling and stuff like that. And it's like, this is a huge opportunity for our community. And then if it works out well, then you can have growth and not put so many of our officers' lives in danger.
Right. Because she's a whether people look at it, she's my partner, but like she was an asset to just the department itself. And like I said, if we're searching a building, we have the K9. She can go in first instead of the officer. I mean,
But she needs a bulletproof
well,
vest.
she needs a bulletproof
Yes,
vest, so it could
she
prevent
does.
a higher chance of keeping her safe than not keeping her safe.
Yeah.
Right. But that's what the asset is, which is her. So.
Yeah, I mean, this is great. I have loved chatting with you. Like, I mean, Caitlin was incredible and was like, "Hey, did you see this?" And I was like, "I saw it on socials, like that you were advocating for this, and like the city was, going to be bringing it along." So, congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean,
I appreciate you having me here, and this is my first experience too, and it's great. So.
yeah, yeah, you'll have to bring her by sometime.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, you just give me some time. I always say, everybody, just give me some time right now. She's still adjusting and acclimating to her home and everything.
Sure.
So once we build that bond, like you said, then yeah, I'll bring her out a lot to. I'll still try to get her out to public events and stuff like that for the most part.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, I love that you saw the need. You saw that we had it once. You saw the need.
Right.
You put the work together to put the pitch and like show what you wanted to do, the vision. Like you just really went up to bat for our city.
100%.
And that's just fabulous. Thank you so much for
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I mean, without you guys, right, I wouldn't be here. So I always say that, without y'all support, the community support, I mean, I wouldn't be here. So
that. Thank y'all for what y'all do.
Thank you.
I know I've being a P kid. It's a hard job. It's hard for your family. It's just like, even our military and stuff like that. Thank you for your service.
Yes,
Thank you for putting your life on the line every day when you put that uniform on and show up.
I'm gonna cry.
I mean, it's so it's true. I mean, it's a choice that y'all make to go and go on the front lines and fight for us. So thank you for that.
Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
So if anybody is wanting to donate, for your cause, like where can they find that?
We have a Facebook. I think we also have Instagram, I want to say. The City of Brenham, their website will, I think it pops up. We also have a QR code on like I made a flyer. That also, you can QR code and it'll send you directly to that, but you just go to the City of Brenham website and you'll scroll down. I believe you'll see where it shows you can donate through check or PayPal. We have it set up over there. So, and you can just, if it's not on direct city website, just go to departments and go to police department and you'll see me on there.
Excellent. And, we'll be sure to put that in the description
Perfect.
as well so people find it.
Yes, ma'am. Great.
We hope that you have enjoyed this episode, learning about how, this is happening in our community and what benefit it brings. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to reach out to us for real estate because now you feel safer in Brenham, find us at texastreoteam.com. Take care and keep living your best life.